Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video I'm going to do a review of the Old Ballantruan 10-year-old, the Peated Malt Speyside Glenlivet Single Malt Scotch Whisky. But before I get into this, here are my notes. Old Ballantruan 10-year-old, the Peated Malt Speyside Glenlivet Single Malt Scotch Whisky is named after the Tom & Toole Distillery's water source, the Ballantruan Spring. It is heavily peated at 55 ppm from a local malting company in Aberdeenshire. It's aged 10 years in ex-bourbon cask American white oak. It is non-chill filtered, has natural color, it's bottled at 50% alcohol by volume, and sells for about $60. Alright, so peat can come across on a lot of different ways on the nose and the palate, depending on the ppm, depending on the temperature of the smoldering peat, depending on where the peat is from, Highlands or one of the islands such as Islay or Orkney. There's just a lot of different factors that can make peat more than just smoke. There's a lot more to peated whiskeys than just smoke. And on this one, what I get is fudge.
Oh, fudge.
Only I didn't say fudge. I said the word. The big one. The queen mother of dirty words.
But I do get a little bit of an oceanic character. Just a minute amount of a medicinal note. There's a little bit of tar, dark chocolate, almost like a baking chocolate. So rather than a real sweet chocolate, a baking chocolate. Some charred apples, or barbecued or grilled apples and peaches. A little bit of grilled lemon and lime. A hint of saltiness. And there's actually a little bit of a nuttiness. So the chocolate and the peanuts reminds me a little bit of a Reese's peanut butter cup. All right, on the palate. This is a really, really delicious whiskey, and it fits kind of a medium in the spectrum. You can have your your lighter whiskeys and the peated whiskeys, and you can have your super heavy, dark, heavy, peat monster whiskeys. And this is somewhat in the middle. It's not light. I would say it's not super heavy, but it does carry some characteristics of the more heavily peated whiskeys. Now, what do I mean by that? It might seem a little bit confusing. It has enough fruit character to it to keep the peat from just smacking you upside the head. The peat and the smoke sort of kicks in for me around the mid palate and kind of lingers into the finish. So if you were to take, say, Islay peated whiskeys, let's take from Southern Islay, Ardbeg, Lafroig, and Lagavulin, and Bowmore. Of those four, probably the most peaty, briny, medicinal notes, typically out of all those, it's going to be Lafroig. Next is probably going to be Ardbeg, then Lagavulin, and Bowmore. Bowmore doesn't have the smack upside the head character as the other Islay whiskeys. This is riding in between, I would say, probably the Lagavulin and the Ardbeg. It's sort of a little bit, gets a little bit towards the Ardbeginess, but it maintains more of the fruit character. I would say that's reminding much more of a Lagavulin. So if you like Lagavulin, if you're a Lagavulin fan, I think you're definitely going to like this one. In fact, I think this would be a really good competitor to go head-to-head with a Lagavulin, but I'm going to do that in another video. Let's get on. I like the development. On the front, you get the fruit character, sort of grilled peach, grilled lemon and lime, maybe a little bit of a tropical note. Then that tar, baker's chocolate, caramel, and there's a sweetness in the mid palate. And what lingers is, I would say, sort of a campfire that's just starting to sort of die out just a little bit. And on the back end, I got a little bit of that chocolate and peanut butter character. I love the fact that this is unchill filtered, no added coloring, and it's at 50 ABV. Price-wise, it's at $60. When I think $60, I think Ardbeg 10, I think some of the other ones, but I think the quality price ratio is spot on. I think they are on the money in the way in which they have dialed in this whiskey. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And if you are a peat head, this is going to be a whiskey definitely you're going to want to check out. Now, they have some other bottlings that are non-age statement. You're going to want to look for the 10-year-old. Look for the 10-year-old. I have tried samples of the non-age statement. I wasn't as impressed with those as I am with this one. This one, I'm going to go a solid 88 points. A solid 88 points. I think it's a really, really nice whiskey. Alrighty. If you like watching my videos and you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I go live. And if you are one of my patrons, I want to thank you much for joining my little group. All right, until next time, cheers.